All right, Shalom. I want to start off as always by giving all praises and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Racha HaKodash, double honors unto the apostles, the elders, and the bishops of Great Millstone. I want to send much love into the brothers out there doing this work in truth and sincerity. And also, I want to send peace and blessings unto the believers of the hopeful elect. And in this lesson, I wanted to get into a little history in the Holy Bible, and I wanted to talk about this individual whose name is mentioned in the Bible, right? Gallio, whose real name here, as you can see, it says in the Bible, Lucius Junius Gallio Anaenos, right? Circa 5 BC, circa AD 65, right? And when he was born, when he died, it says, was a Roman official who dismissed charges brought against Paul, the apostle, by the Jews in Corinth, okay? Now, you have a lot of people out there who try to discredit the Bible and act as if the Bible is not a historical fact or a historical source. And people like that are just, pretty much being childish and being foolish, because the Bible records a lot of history, okay, of the ancient empires and different rulers. Already named names. It's a bunch of history in the Holy Scriptures that's accurate, okay? And when you read the book of Acts, the 18th chapter, all right, this guy here, Gallio, is mentioned, okay? Luke mentioned him by name, because keep in mind, Luke was the one who wrote Acts, okay? And you have certain Israelites or a particular Israelite group who says that Luke is not credible. They say the book of Luke is pretty much not of the Most High. So if the book of Luke is not of the Most High, then the book of Acts also got to be not of the Most High, right? According to them guys, man. Brother, I don't even want to get all into that. Whatever, man. Believe what you want to believe, okay? But Luke was serving with the Apostle Paul, okay? He was there with the apostles, and he wrote down the accounts he got from the apostles, but also the things that he went through when he got with the Apostle Paul, okay? So I want to get into this information here, man, because, it's good to know, it's good to have it in your pocket, right? Just learning, man, and growing. And so the first thing I want to play here is a video, right? This is a Gospel and Spade. It says the Gallio Inscription, evidence for the historicity of Gallio's proconsulship found in Acts chapter 18. All right. And Lord willing, I'll read that account, or, at least, go into it and show you that this individual is written about. Okay. And that Paul was face to face with this man. All right. Luke was there. All right. The other men who were with Paul, they was all there. Okay. So this video here is about 3 minutes. Yeah. It said 3 minutes, 33 seconds. So I'll play this here. And YouTube, this is fair use. Okay. I'm not getting paid for this. This is just fair use, man. So here we go. Okay. We good there.
Hi again, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Gospel and Spade. Today we will take a look at the Gallio inscription. This fragmentary Greek inscription was discovered in 1908 at the Temple of Apollo at Delphi, Greece. The inscription records a decree of the Roman Emperor Claudius, who reigned from 41 to 54 AD in his...
Right. Now, real quick. Okay. Real quick.
Emperor Claudius, who reigned from 41 to...
Now, Claudius Caesar, right? He's spoken about in the book of Acts chapter 18. Okay, as you can see, it says he reigned around 41 through 54 AD, right? So when you go to Acts, the 18th chapter, right? And you read here, this is the NLT Bible, it says, then Paul left Athens and went to Corinth. There he became acquainted with a Jew named Aquila, born in Pontus, who had recently arrived from Italy with his wife Priscilla. So you had Jakes who was in Italy, man, okay, in Rome, right? It says they had left Italy when Claudius Caesar deported all Jews from Rome. And the reason that Claudius deported all the Jews from Rome is because Jake was kicking up dust. All right. Truth was going out, Jake uprising and rebellion. Claudius Caesar didn't want to deal with it. So he deported Jake out of Rome. All right. So he's mentioned in the Holy Scriptures, man. All right. Just keep that in mind. So going here back to the video, okay. And as you can see, they said the temple of Apollo in Delphi, right? This is where they found this inscription at. So here we go.
54 AD, in his 12th year, or in other words, 52 AD, where he invited citizens to repopulate the site of the famous city of Delphi, because the city's population had dwindled over time. In the inscription, Claudius mentions that his friend Lucius Junius Gallio, who was proconsul or governor of the Roman province of Achaia, or modern-day southern Greece, had helped to influence Claudius in making this particular decision. In relation to the Bible, Acts chapter 18 verses 11 to 17 records that Paul ministered in the city of Corinth in Achaia for 18 months. During this time, Luke records that Paul was brought before the Roman governor of Achaia, Gallio, to be put on trial as a result of attempted Jewish persecutions of Paul's successful ministry within the city. However, this attempted persecution of Paul by the Jews of the city backfired, as Gallio could see that Paul had firstly committed no crime worthy of prosecution, and that secondly, Gallio was uninterested in the clearly theological nature of the dispute between Paul and the Jews of the city. Paul was
right. And when you go here to Acts, right, he mentioned that. So I'm going to go here to Acts and I'm going to read that account real quick, okay? So this is Acts chapter 18, starting at verse 11. It says, so Paul stayed there for the next year and a half, teaching the word of the Most High. But when Gallio became governor of Achaia, some Jews rose up together against Paul and brought him before the governor for judgment. They accused Paul of persuading people to worship the Most High in ways that are contrary to our law. But just as Paul started to make his defense, Gallio turned to Paul's accusers and said, listen, you Jews, if this were a case involving some wrongdoing or a serious crime, I would have a reason to accept your case. Because you had Jakes back then, man, who was pretty much, there was bringing Paul before Esau, man, trying to get him locked up, pretty much trying to get Paul unalived, man, okay? Being demons. They took Paul, to pretty much, to court, right? To accuse him pretty much and get him unalived, man. But Esau pretty much told Jake, look, man, get the hell on. I ain't got nothing to do with this, okay? But Jake was trying to get him unalived, bro. And this is why when you read 1 Corinthians, the 6th chapter, right? I'll grab it real quick. Paul told Jake, look, man, if y'all got a problem, okay, y'all ain't got to go to the police, bro. As in, go to the to the Romans to try to settle a dispute, that they had amongst each other, right? Because Jake was doing that back then. If it was Paul, like, look, bro, if y'all got something between each other, you ain't got to go to the police on them, okay? Deal with it, as Israelites, all right, as believers, and hash it out, because you had Jakes doing that back then, right? So going here to 1 Corinthians, right? Chapter 6 and verse 1, it says, when one of you has a dispute with another believer, right? So these were believers Paul was talking to, amongst brothers, right, and sisters. He says, how dare you file a lawsuit and ask a secular court to decide the matter instead of taking it to other believers? So when Paul was in that situation, right, with them unbelieving Jews, instead of hashing it out as Israelites, they took Paul to Esau, man. Try to get him, pretty much unalive, bro. Okay? Being demons. Paul, like, look, bro, you ain't got to do that as believers, man. But those guys weren't believers anyway. Okay? They were just a bunch of, demons trying to get, the men of the Lord destroyed, man. So going here back to Acts, right? It says, verse 15, but since it is merely a question of words and names and your Jewish law, take care of it yourselves. I refuse to judge such matters. And he threw them out of the courtroom. So he said, you know what, man? Y'all get the hell out of here with that. He didn't want to deal with it, bro. It says, the crowd then grabbed Sosthenes, the leader of the synagogue, and beat him right there in the courtroom, but Gallio paid no attention. So they took a believer, man, right? And they beat him in front of Gallio, trying to show Esau, look, Esau, we getting these niggas, right? Jake crazy, man. Jake is crazy, bro. Like, Jake is really crazy, bro. Okay? It's the same thing today, man. Trying to please Esau, bro. But Gallio paid them no attention. And they beat the man, right? So, going here back to the video, okay?
Was therefore released as a result and left the city at some point soon after this attempted trial. This inscription is therefore important for two different reasons. Firstly, it places Paul's 18-month ministry during the years 51 to 52 AD. As a Roman governor, typically only remained a governor for a single year, starting from July the 1st until July the 1st of the following year. This therefore means that Paul was brought before Gallio sometime between July the 1st, 51 AD, and July the 1st, 52 AD.
Right. So the account in the book of Acts, the 18th chapter, right? When Paul came before Gallio, you have an actual date, okay? And this is how scholars, okay, date, certain accounts in the New Testament, man, because of what Luke wrote down. Since you guys say Luke is incredible, right? Luke is credible, man. Gallio was an actual real man, like he was a real person that existed, okay? Like Luke, Luke just, just make him up. No, he was a real guy, man, a governor, okay? So you have a date here of when this account took place, all right? So here we go.
51 AD and July the 1st, 52 AD. This secure date helps students of the New Testament to figure out the timing of other important events during Paul's life and ministry, both before and after his 18-month stay in Corinth. Secondly, this inscription's record of both Claudius as emperor and Gallio as proconsul of Achaia during 51 to 52 AD also supports the historical accuracy of Luke's account found within Acts chapter 18. As Luke correctly mentions in Acts chapter 18 verse 2 that Claudius was the emperor at the time when Paul came to Corinth, and he also correctly records that Gallio was governor of Achaia at the time that Paul was in the city. This inscription therefore demonstrates the historical accuracy of Luke's record that is found within the New Testament book of Acts. Thank you for watching. As always, please don't forget.
Right? So there you have it, man. Okay, with that video, there's something, short and sweet, showing you that the accounts in the scriptures, man, are accurate. Okay, these are accurate accounts written down by our forefathers, man. Okay, they was actually there, right? Luke got names right, he got places right, all that he got it correctly, man, because he was alive there at that time. So now I want to go here. Okay, so this is just a piece of information, right, on a Wikipedia. All right, they call it the Delphi inscription or the Gallio inscription. Okay, the same thing. But it says, is the name given to the collection of 9 fragments of a letter written by the Roman Emperor Claudius in 52 CE, which was discovered early in the 20th century at the Temple of Apollo in Delphi, Greece. All right, so they call it the Delphi inscription or the Gallio inscription. Okay, but Gallio is mentioned, right? The guy in Acts 18, he's mentioned. So we only have, so we also got a date, all right, name, and we got evidence. Okay, artifacts. Name, date, artifacts. You got it. So to say the Bible is inaccurate or has no, truth to it, use a lie, man. You can't deny evidence, bro. All right. And look, bro, we stand on faith anyway, right? But there's a lot of evidence out there to show and prove that what our forefathers wrote down in the scriptures are historically accurate. Okay. And for me personally, I love history. All right. I love to go into information and read these different things and, look at the artifacts. That shit incites me. Okay. So now I'm going into my last video, then I close out, man. All right. Something that's short and sweet. This is a interview, okay, done by Matt Fradd. It says, your Bible questions answered with Dr. John Bergsma. Okay, this is an interview. I actually did a lesson on this interview last year about Sodom and Gomorrah. I think it was out of this interview that he did or another one, because he did two interviews with him. But I did it on Sodom and Gomorrah. But he speaks about the writings of Luke. Okay, he's a well educated man. All right. He's a scholar. And he's speaking about the account with Paul and Gallio and Luke. Okay, so I'll play what he said here, then I'll close out, man. All right. Something that's short and sweet.
My favorite episode, actually, in the book of Acts, Matt, is actually when St. Paul is taken in front of this figure known as Gallio. And it's right in the middle of Acts. And they're in Achaia, which is central Greece. And it mentions that St. Paul was dragged in front of the local governor, who is named Gallio. Well, this guy actually, his full name is Junius Gallio, and he's kind of like the Jeb Bush of the ancient world. Okay. Why Jeb Bush? Well, Jeb Bush, governor of Florida, relatively successful politician, but overshadowed by whom? His more famous father and his more famous brother, right? Both of whom were presidents of the United States, right? Well, Junius Gallio was a successful politician in his own right. He was a Roman governor, etc., but overshadowed by his dad, who was Seneca the elder, and his brother, who was Seneca the younger, both of whom were famous orators and philosophers and all this, and really made a splash in Latin literature. So, he's this bit player within this larger picture, and he was only governor of central Greece for a single year between about 51 and 52 AD. And when it says that Paul was taken in front of him, it allows us to date this trial of Paul in the middle of Acts to the very year, because this famous governor, like he doesn't mean anything to us. We read it like Gallio, like who the heck is Gallio? But everybody in the ancient world, well, that's Jeb Bush, like his brother was this and his father was that. This is like a world famous figure, world famous character within Roman culture. And there's Paul giving the defense of the gospel in front of him in that 1 year that he happened to be governor of central Greece. So again, it's the little things that really impress me, Matt, because it's hard to get the little things right. If I compare it to, every state in the U.S. has some kind of Bureau of Motor Vehicles. But when you go to the actual titles, some states call it a Department of Motor Vehicles. Some call it a Division of Motor Vehicles. Some call it a Motor Vehicle Department. Some call it a Bureau of Motor Vehicles. So every state has its different terminology. And it's really hard to nail that.
Yes.
And if somebody was trying to make up stuff about getting their license in the U.S. in the 21st century, they would mangle that.
Yeah.
But Luke moves all over the Roman world in the book of Acts, going in front of different government officials and nailing their titles and the timing and the dating and these famous figures, and all while they're still living, And there's even Marilyn Monroe type figures in the book of Acts.
All right, so there you have it, man. He gave a little backdrop on Gallio. All right, when he was governor, his dad, his brother. Okay, I read about them as well. But the point being of this lesson is to show you brothers and sisters out there that what's written in the scriptures is accurate, man. Okay? Gallio was a real individual. Paul was a real individual. Luke was a real individual, man. Peter, James, John, they was all real. Okay? Yahushua was a real individual. This ain't, just some fake stuff, bro. Okay? And see, this world has poisoned Jake so much to where they can't even see past, like they can't accept it. And ultimately, the blindness comes from the Most High. Okay? But these was real individuals, man, who lived. Okay? Paul saw Yahushua. Peter, they saw Yahushua, man. John. Okay? The oldest copy of the book of John, all right, the Gospel of John, it dates back to 125 AD. That's like, 25, 30 years, they say, after he died, man. So that's a fresh copy from John himself, okay, when he died, of the Gospel of John. A fresh copy, bro. So these things are real, man, okay? And, I just hope and pray that, this is edifying. All right, you can go and, search about Gallio and all of these things, man. But I just want to highlight a few points. And I'll close out here, man. All right. All praise Yahweh, Shema, Shah, Shem, Kodash. Shalom.